Alright, so we pulled the rear apron off, and it looks like both layers here, it's rusted through. And usually what I'll do on these, you can buy these new, and they're not terribly expensive, kind of expensive. Move it here, over here somewhere I can draw this. So on here, if it's not bad to this edge, I'll use that edge as my cut line, and I'll just mark right here. I'll cut it right here like that down to here, and then of course where it's rusted through over here, I'll cut out that section, and we'll make that out of flat metal right there. And then it's rusted through here, so I'll cut this off first, and then when I get that whole piece made, I'll before I weld it in, cut this all the way through this side, and repair, put a little repair section in on this side too. So right here I'll cut that out, and then we'll just put a little repair piece in there. I'll leave this edge because this is in good shape. It just looks bad, but it can be cleaned up. You got to kind of know, when something's rusted all the way through, what it looks like and what it isn't. This is just surface rust on this side, a little bit of surface rust on the back side. But what happens a lot of times is it rusts between the two layers of metal because there was no seam sealer on there. So that's why a lot of times using panel adhesive can be better. I'm not going to use it on this, but because of the heat, especially right here. But sometimes some of the mufflers actually touch that inner panel. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut this out and weld a new piece in. So anyway, we'll probably have Chris on that one today. I'll see how he does later. He does a good job with fabrication, and he's not really a bodywork guy, but he does pretty good on fabrication. So we'll see how he does. All right. All right. So this is what this looked like. That's totally fixable. If you guys look at my red bus, it was like this. I mean, it was from Florida. It's had about the same condition this is here. You could buy the patch panel for this. It's not hard, to put those in, and they work good and everything else. But, like I said, if you can make it, save some money, sometimes you're going to be doing that on your rust project. And with this one, I'm going to make it almost worth buying it on this one, but I'm going to make it just because I want to show you guys that are somewhere how you can make that and make that work. So remember, there's a line here, and we'll probably end up just cutting out everything right here around. Then I have to make an inner panel for that, and that doesn't come with this patch panel. The inner panel, there's 2 layers of metal right here. If you look, this is all 2 layers of metal. So you got to make that inner panel anyway. So anyway, that's why I just figured I'll just make the whole thing. It's not that much harder. So if you're wondering what tool to use to cut these or to do these, what this is this is a grinder with 2 speeds. I got it at a yard sale a while back, and my other one got stolen. Of course, it was in the back of my truck once somewhere. Somebody else wanted it more than me. So this is an actual stone grinding wheel. I use one of these. This is a 9-inch to knock down all this weld stuff. It goes really, really fast with that. I mean, it'll come off in like no time. Take off all the welds, all that chip stuff, all the extra pieces of metal there. And if you notice, this is kind of black. I do need to put another coat of this stuff on there. So, because some of it you can see here, it's still kind of reddish brown, but you can see where I put 2 coats on it. It's just black. It just kills that rust dead. So that's dormant rust now, and you could be painted over. I'm actually going to put some. I'm going to look for my brand new can of that stuff and just coat it with that, because it has like a clear in it and stuff. So as soon as I get that, I'll do that. I'm going to start whacking off pieces here while I'm looking for that, and I'll just clamp one on here, but I got to get this grinder out and get busy with it. I'll show you how that works out. Alright, so I figure I'll demo this tool here. Got some gloves handy here. Well, welding gloves, but you don't really need welding gloves. Got my safety glasses on. Definitely need them big time with this. I mean, sometimes you can squint, you know, you shouldn't do that, but you know, some guys do. Anyway, use your eyelashes, but that's not really recommended. Oh, no power. No, I'm not getting any power. Well, try again. I don't know if it's the tool or the cord. Bring you guys back in a second. Figured this out. Well, I guess it got unplugged when I had the heater plugged in over there. It's kind of cold today for us, Californian style. It's like it was in probably the 30s this morning, and again, noise alert, guys. It's going to be super loud. Get you guys up a little closer so you can see more. What I'm doing is I'm cleaning those edges. I'm not going to actually use that metal, but I'm going to cut it off, but I want to clamp my new panel on so I can see where to cut it and fit it properly. Let me see if I can get you guys nice and close so you can see how fast this stuff comes off with this tool. This is the hard shell, the stone. It's a stone grinder. And the rest I clean up with the flapper wheel. Alright, so that's enough of that noise. I'll bring you guys back in. I'm going to clean I don't need to clean all the tops of these right now, but I just wanted to clean these edges here. Let me take you guys are, it's in your face. Okay, so I got to clean this right here, out of here, because that's where my new rocker panel, it'll just take all that garbage right off. You know, that's why you don't got to get every, like all this stuff here, it just rips those things off of there like nothing. That stone grinder, it does a pretty nice job cleaning the metal. And then you just go through, and after that just take your flapper wheel and do the final cleanup, because this is going to get panel adhesive. This is going to go in with panel adhesive. We'll show you guys that later. People are going to be like, oh no, you can't do that, blah blah blah. And I'll talk to you guys about why it actually works better, because they didn't have it back when they built these. So you know, it actually works better than welding those in my opinion. So it actually is stronger. It's more uniform. It actually will keep the rust from coming back, where welding, when you get it hot, it'll keep coming back. So it'll come back again if you don't seam seal it and you've got a corrugated floor. You're going to seam seal. right? Nobody will do that. So you'll have gaps in it. It'll crack later on. You know, the seam chiller is going to shrink. Things like that's going to happen, and you'll get rust again. I did another one of my buses. I did the floors the second time. Somebody else did them before I did it again. Alright, so I've kind of knocked this down a little bit. Some of the tops of these things a little, you know, and basically got all the old metal off of here. Because this butts up against, the reason I leave this on there, this back piece, even though I might replace it. I don't know, that one's not that bad. This one right here. But I haven't treated it yet. But what I do is I'll set this in place right here. This is the outer rocker. These line up so they should be flush with the top of this thing here. And typically when you weld, you know, a factory welded them by punching holes in here, or well, actually pinch welding. So a lot of guys say, well, to replicate that, you got to put a hole in here and drill here and drill here. I don't usually do that. I'm going to probably, since I got the floors out, I can weld the top of this because that might be weak. You know, it's all up to you on that. If you want to punch holes in there and do all that extra time, that's up to you. But I usually just weld this little tab on. I'll just weld along the side there, and that's good enough. A couple spot welds on there and on each thing, and it becomes uniform once you do it all. And usually when I'm welding, I'll put a weld every ½ inch on center. So that's usually when I'm doing spot welding. That's how I do it. A factory's like 3/4 of an inch, so something like that typically. But I'll put this in place. Then I'm going to use this to actually give me my dimensions to line this up. So this should be, since I've got still some metal here left, this should be around right here. You can see it lines up with the dog leg here on this end, and then it lines up with the back, I don't know what that is, little piece down here. The top of this, I guess, would be about the same distance if you still have it. So then I'm just going to cut off. This one looks like it's swollen right here, up to about right here. So I'm going to cut past the swollen part right up in here. Then all I'll do is just use that as a pattern to cut the new one, and then I'll just do it that way. Some guys will measure. You know, if I measure, I'm going to be off, no doubt. I'll definitely be off. If that's you, if you're like me, it's better if I replicate something. So if I measure it, that's why I don't do wood. I always get it wrong. So I'll measure it, and you know, damn if I don't see the wrong end of the cut line or whatever. You know, you just cut to this part of the line instead of that part of the line. I don't know. I end up messing up somehow. So I'll just put this one next to that one, and I'll make my piece, and then actually I'll probably just go ahead and at this point weld this in. I think that's probably where I'm at right now. Yeah, and then I can use that to make this piece here to fit. I know that this lines up because I removed all the old metal off of here, so that's an important thing. If you leave any of the old metal on, you'll have double stacked metal, and it'll make a difference on this part possibly. Usually you can fake it in. You know, there's the next panel you can put. It's like tile. You set one tile a little off, and you set the next one a little bit in more. You know, you can do that, kind of work it out that way. But usually it's better if it's right. But you know, nothing's right. You know, there's always a little bit, and every bus is different. This metal's different. You know, everything's different. So don't expect it just to stack all up and look perfect. You're going to have to probably do some shaving, maybe a little bending, to make sure that that last panel goes on straight and lines up. Alright, so I've just tacked this guy in place. It's level here, centered between this and the dog leg front. That's usually how they fit. Let me go ahead and lop this baby off here, and I'll put you guys right here. I forgot to set my heat. Burned through. But you know what? At least I know I'm penetrating. And you know what? You can't even see it anyway. You could fill it in if you wanted, but it's up to you. Guys like CT, this is a good place to learn to weld. You can make a mistake here and burn through stuff, make a mess, and you know what? It's not going to be seen anyways. Alright, so this cut I can just kind of guess on. The next one's got to fit, so say about right. About right. Where the swollen spot isn't. Sorry about no warning for the noise alert. Hoping you guys had figured that one out. Let's take a look here. Now this one I want to make sure I cut it maybe just a hair longer than grind it into fit. I'll clean this up on the bench grinder. Bring you guys back in a second. I got a little off there. It happens. You can always fill it in with weld, right? Oh no, you can't do that. Watch me. Well, let's see how it fits. I think I got it. I just gotta get it straight. It's not very straight. Need a pair of vice grips. Let's try these duckbill vice grips, see if they work. We might just keep a straight line. Okay. Hopefully I'm not probably in your way, guys. Sorry, my big head. Yeah, I think that'll work. Let's take a look. Straight enough. Yeah, I'd say we're in there. It's not, you know, you can get a straight edge out and get it perfect if you want. That's probably good enough.
Okay.
Let's give this thing a little burn, shall we? I don't have but one welding glove on here, but at least I can get it placed in. I know it's a little dirty. Trying to clean it a little bit. Forgot to turn on my gas. I know, I wondered why it was poppy like that. That's alright. Things happen. That's a little nicer, but it sure is a mountain. Helps when you... Here, let's do some welding. Just mess with you guys. Here. Okay. Alright. Oh, I messed that one up. Must have my heat way too high. Yep. First one got me all screwed up. That's what grinders are for, right? Let's try this again. Noise alert. I'll teach you the lesson. Let me turn down that heat a little bit. I've got to turn it up way too high. That'll teach you the lesson. Reality. Oh, yeah. He didn't make this beautiful. I've got it, bro. There we go. Nobody makes mistakes, right? Mistakes are what grinders are for. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and come back into that in a minute. I'll weld that up off camera maybe. I'm going to do some welding on camera so you guys can see. Then I can't weld for crap, but I can still do it. Some guys think, oh, you got to be the best welder. No, I'm not terrible. I don't take it that seriously. I don't take life that seriously. I think so many people take it too serious. So anyway, I'll lop this sucker off here. Right about there. I'm going to plug it in first. Always helps when you plug it in. Using my favorite tool, that big grinder. Okay. Right. Okay. Get my measuring tool. You can always fix it if you're slightly off. Some things. You can kind of fake stuff in as you go. Not too much. Not bad. I just got to straighten it out a little bit. Same old, same old. Bring you guys back in a minute. Next one. So we're about ready to go. Get it straight. On the weld. Once again. I just want it to look pretty good. Won't look like crap, you know. Some people are just so fussy about it, but you know, stuff like this is the inner panel, and it's just it's, you know, it's not going to change the alignment of the car. Those things, you know, you need to be a little more conscientious of. Something like that. This one's having a little more trouble getting lined up. You have to just hold it like that. Tack it. You guys hold for me? Somebody reach through here and hold it. That's well done now. Getting crazier as they go. I can relate to Musty One now. I get it. You're watching. I know you watch the channel every once in a while. print through it again, but at least I know I'm penetrating, right? You guys don't want to know what the difference between a good welder and a bad welder is? To me, it's one that sticks and one that doesn't. All the other stuff is just bragging rights. I mean, it's good. And one that can fix his mistakes. All right. There. Well, I forgot to clean the surface. I'll just burn through the paint. Oh, that's hot. Get this one. Well, that was guesswork. Couldn't see. Yeah, I think I still got it. Alright, well, I'll finish welding all the way around. You guys don't need to see the whole thing. That's kind of how you do it. Gets in place like that. And then, you know, if you're just a little bit off, this can be bent. Okay, this edge, bottom edge can be bent this way or this way. So that's how you correct that. So if you're going to put it together and you find out that this panel's not lining up, then you can bend this that way. You can grind this edge down. You know, if your floors don't fit right, you can grind that edge down. There's a lot of things you can do to correct things. So, you know, it's not rocket science. You know, this is just putting an old car back together is not that hard. It's not as difficult as people want to put it on YouTube. And I'm trying to show you guys that maybe aren't as talented as some of those guys are, that, you know, you don't need to be. It can still work. I'm not that talented. I just make stuff look good. So anyway, I'll bring you guys back in a little bit later. We'll check it out. Alright, so we had to do a little bit of work while I was deleting some videos off of here. So went ahead and did this side. Pretty much the same as the first. Did get a little bit crooked on that one, but it's because it's where it's at. It's really hard to get in back in there. So, really hard to sit there and look at it. But it's okay, it doesn't matter. You won't even see it when it's all together. And so I actually just welded the sides of those versus putting the tabs on like these here. Because what those tabs are for is for you to pinch weld it, and we're not pinch welding, right? So we're doing something different than the way it was done originally. Because you're welding it, you're not pinch welding. It's a different type of weld. So I finished cleaning up those gobbledygoops over there, of course. Gonna ground these down a bit. Once they're seam sealed up and stuff, they'll look alright. Plenty strong. Let's stand on here for a second. How's that? Plenty strong, you guys think? Okay, anybody that was questioning that, that should handle that. So up here, the shifter was rusted out like this. Pretty weak looking. Yeah, there was not much left. So we went ahead, the sides looked okay, so we went ahead and made this piece. I don't know if we're done welded it in yet. No, it's ready to be welded in now. And just made the top half of that. Just used this, took this one and cut it off, and then actually made it so it kind of overlaps over the edge. See how this is? We made it like that so that it actually fits over the old one and fits perfectly in exactly the same place as the other one, because we used this one as a pattern, traced it, and then made it so it overlaid over it. It's not going to interfere with anything, so it's actually better if it's overlaid like that, stronger. So anyway, that's how we did that. E-brake, of course, working fantastic. Well, there's always hope when you have a propane torch and time. E-brake was frozen. Now look. But you gotta let it cool, do it again, oil it, let it cool, try it 3 times. A lot of times you'll get those old frozen things to work. We are going to do a repair to this. Look at this, around that thing. So we're just going to cut off the top and make a new top for that. We're not going to take that whole thing out. Yeah, that's not usually something I do. But we did notice that this down here is pretty rotten, and that's a pretty major panel to replace. So we're going to take the lower nose off, because we got to anyway. We have one right here. There's the lower nose. We already knew we were going to have to do that. So we're going to rip this nose off of here. So stay tuned for the next video. And like, share, subscribe, hate, whatever. Just do your thing. Whatever you want to do. We're just trying to, this channel is about teaching realistic ways to do rust repair, and realistic ways for you guys trying to do it yourselves. It's not trying to teach the perfect, way that makes a museum piece that nobody ever drives. I'll leave that to somebody else to do, because I don't like those kind of cars. I really have one that looks nice, drives nice, like this car out here. Really nice little Bug. Looks nice, solid car, drives great, looks good. And if I get a scratch in it at the grocery store or something, no big deal. Alright, talk to you guys in the next video. Please like, share, and subscribe. Leave those comments.